So, former New Hampshire Senator Gordon Humphrey, a Republican, served 2 terms and then became turned independent after Trump's election, like a lot of folks, approached our friend Tom Steyer at needtoimpeach.com. He is now working to get a resolution considered by the New Hampshire state legislature supporting Trump's impeachment, encouraging state leaders nationwide to do the same. We were just saying this yesterday, right? That you go, we're the ones we've been waiting for. Like I think we have such bombshell fatigue that I'm glad yet another strong voice is speaking out. Good morning, Senator. So nice to talk to you. Hello, Senator Humphrey. Hello.
Good morning.
Oh, there.
Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Listen, I loved your piece, Another View, Time for Impeachment Hearings. I have to tell you, I don't know if you know, but my dad ran with Goldwater in 1964 and was, chairman of the RNC. And it's interesting. My sisters, of course, campaigned for Goldwater Miller, and they were the first people that sent me the need to impeach petition and told me to sign this. Because I think like many decent people, enough is just enough, isn't it? I mean, it, as you even cover in this piece, Senator, there are so many grounds at this point. Where do we even start, right?
Well, it comes down to this: are we going to continue to live under the rule of law, or are we going to start living under the rule of man? In this case, a man. In this case, Donald Trump. And the rule of law is an important treasure, an important heritage. It differentiates us from the people in the past who were governed without their consent by might and power and cruelty. And that's going back for thousands of years. We're lucky to live in an era which is fairly new in advent, when we live under the rule of law and we have rights. But if we don't stand up for those, we're going to lose them. And this president is a usurper and a stomper on those rights, and we need to resist.
Yeah. Senator, you write it's time for impeachment hearings. You're talking about Democrats are hiding behind the excuse they should await the special counsel's report. Under the Constitution, Congress is a co-equal branch, not a co-opted branch. It requires no report from the executive branch to hold executive officers accountable. I don't know if you read Neil Katyal's piece in the New York Times, The Mueller Report is coming, here's what to expect. I mean, he kind of says this is what it is. It's a roadmap for House investigations because, as you sort of argue, and Tom argues, impeachment, it's a political process. This is what it's designed to do, the Congress, right?
Well, that's right. It's a matter of judgment whether the evidence is strong enough to remove the president from office. But the only way to get to that decision is for the House Judiciary Committee to begin hearings, and that's what is needed. This excuse of waiting for the Mueller report is a dodge. It's a cop-out by members of Congress who don't want to, get into the middle of this thing. There's no need for a report from the Justice Department. The Constitution gives the Congress the right to question the conduct of executive officers and determine whether they should be removed from office or not, and there's no report from Mueller needed, beyond which we don't know how much of that report, if any, will reach Congress.
You make the same point that our friend Watergate prosecutor Jill Wine-Banks has made. You say, bear in mind the Judiciary Committee opened hearings in the Nixon case without awaiting a report from the Justice Department. As she argues, the same as you, is it is essential and that the American public know the facts here. I wonder, you say your next line is it could be months before the Mueller report is issued. Have you changed your thinking at all with a lot of the reporting that it could be as early as next week?
Yeah, that has changed since I wrote the piece.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The Justice Department regulations under which the special counsel was appointed require that report be, when he submits it to the Justice Department, that it be held confidential. So, and furthermore, the new Attorney General, Mr. Barr, made it clear in his hearings a couple weeks back that he's going to be very circumspect in how he deals with that report. What that means exactly, we don't know. But he was appointed by President Trump, so we have to be a bit wary on the ground. So Congress might or might not see this report. And if Congress has to wrench it away from the Department of Justice, that will take months. So that the point I want to make over and over again is that the House Judiciary Committee needs to begin hearings right now and stop making excuses.
Well, and that's why the phrase is "we the people." We are not powerless here. This is the people's house, right? I mean, I wanted to get your take, Senator, on Rachel Maddow last night. Let me just read a tweet. The memo that serves as the basis for the DOJ policy that a sitting president cannot be indicted was specific to Spiro Agnew only and was never intended to serve as a basis for prosecutorial immunity for a sitting president. I realize that's a sort of a different subject, but what are your thoughts on that?
To be honest, I'm not acquainted enough with the background to be of any use to your listeners on that one. I want to focus on the big tool, which is impeachment. Right. And by the way, the question comes to mind, what can we citizens do? You used the phrase, we the people, a moment ago. What can we do? Well, we can do as I've done and go to needtoimpeach.com. That's the website, Tom Steyer's website, needtoimpeach.com, and join the 7.5 million citizens who've already signed a petition there. What else can you do? Well, many of your listeners, I know you're carried across the whole country,
yeah.
Stephanie. Many of your listeners are in states where presidential candidates are now showing up. Mm-hmm. And what we can do is we can sharply question these candidates and get them on record as in support of the start of Judiciary Committee hearings.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting. You also mentioned in your piece, Senator, that there are so many grounds. You said the committee should consider whether the president's refusal to read intelligence reports, failure to consult with senior national security advisors before making critical decisions constitute a violation of the oath to faithfully execute the office of president. The emoluments clause, I mean, on and on and on, right? I mean, yeah. We hear a different breathtaking story every day. Selling nuclear secrets to Saudi Arabia for personal financial gain for him and his family. I mean, I understand people feeling overwhelmed sometimes, don't you?
Yes, it is overwhelming, the plethora of details and controversy. But the point you just made is valid. We don't have to wait for anything Russia-related. There are already sufficient grounds to question the president's continuation in office. The Judiciary Committee can begin hearings on those allegations right now without waiting for any Russia-related material to come from the Mueller report, if any report reaches Congress.
Yep, you say it best here, Senator, in the end of your piece. Let's wait for Mueller. That's a cop-out that ignores serious presidential wrongdoing unrelated to Russia. President Trump's reckless conduct daily undermines the rule of law and the integrity of the Constitution, as well as our national security. I mean, not to mention, Senator, that he is clearly not just a clear and present danger to national security, but he is inciting violence like this latest, guy that had a kill list with all of Trump's targets on it and a cache of weapons. And we're seeing, I think, Southern Poverty Law Center just reported new statistics of, hate crimes up 30% since Trump got into office. I think you don't need to be a genius to go. We are at a very dangerous boiling point, and I think you're right. We don't have any time to spare.
Well, there are allegations, large and small, but take the large ones. And the most recent is that the president is, through this emergency declaration and spending of money not appropriated by Congress. That's a direct, clear, distinct, unquestionably violative of the First Amendment, first article of the Constitution, which reserves exclusively to Congress the power to appropriate money.
Yep.
And the Congress has refused, in this case, to appropriate the money the president wants for the border wall, and the president is now violating the Constitution by taking into his own hands, in the manner of a dictator, the power to appropriate money. He doesn't have that under the Constitution. That's a violation of the Constitution. Clear, simple, unequivocal. The Judiciary Committee needs to get going.
Yep.
Stop making excuses about waiting for Russia-related material, which might or might not exist. Right. They can take that up. If they get evidence of Russia-related wrongdoing, they can take that up when they get the evidence. But they have evidence in hand right now, evidence of plenty to begin hearings.
Yep. And you make a good point that a strong message from New Hampshire, of course, the home of the first in the nation primary, will hopefully have other states follow your lead there, right? I mean, it's like, what are we up to? At least 16 states suing the president for what you just mentioned, for the this fake emergency declaration. So, we can do this. And as you say, like Tom started it, and we have 7.5 million signatures. So needtoimpeach.com. And Senator, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for taking time for us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
All right, and we are with you. We have it up on our Facebook page as well. Thanks so much, Senator.
Great.
All
Take
right.
care.
There he
Bye.
goes.
All
Okay,
right.
there he goes. One of the good guys.
He is.
Yeah. Brought up some of my daddy issues.
He's seen the light.